welcome back. It has been almost 3 weeks since we have been on here. If you follow me over on social media, you'll see that I've kind of been going through a little bit of a rough time. I lost my uncle a few weeks ago, and it's just been a lot of processing, and I just haven't been able to fully invest in the YouTube. I've just been taking time for myself, giving myself grace, and really just processing everything and kind of lowering my expectations, or just not feeling like I have to fit into what my normal expectations were, like posting once a week, and working on not feeling like I have to please everybody or I'm going to let anybody down. So I've really just been putting myself first. I haven't really been videotaping anything. I don't have a lot of content. And it's really, okay, so RV life, it's called Vigors Ventures because first off, we're the Vigors and we're always on an adventure. So whether we're in the RV or doing something else, obviously right now it's like geared towards RV life. We're not going to do this forever, but I hope to continue it if we ever do find a house, settle down. I still want to make videos, of just daily life and inspiration. And that's my whole goal of this YouTube thing, is to just motivate people, inspire people, help someone. As a career, I'm an occupational therapist, so it's just like in my blood to help people. And so this is kind of like another creative outlet for me to do that. Point of that is I don't have any RV content right now, but it has really just been placed on my heart to come on and share my testimony with you guys, because like I said, it's been a rough month. I've taken a lot of processing, still processing, will still be processing for a long time. I'm not quite ready to share all that. It's also not my story to tell, but through that all, and also back in January, kind of went through a rough patch, but have really, really been leaning into my faith. And this is outside of my comfort zone. So I know I posted in January, chopped my hair off, got bangs, and just trying to do stuff that scares you, right? Because that's where growth happens, outside of your comfort zone. And just as Christians, we're called to spread the word and talk about Jesus. And it's uncomfortable for me because it is kind of newish, which is what I'm just going to share. I'll share my testimony and story so you guys will kind of understand why. But we found a great church down here, Radiant Church. Pastor Aaron Burke, he's awesome. If you guys are ever in the Tampa area, check him out or watch a service online. He's great. A few weeks ago, it's probably been a few months actually, he came on and preached a service about sharing your testimony. And as Christians, we're supposed to, spread the word, get people to follow Jesus. And so he kind of talked about sharing our testimony and talking about Jesus, and kind of like giving, kind of giving back Christians a better rap, right? Like, we don't want to come and shove Jesus down your throat. That's not our job, right? You either will follow him or you won't. Our hope is that, other people that haven't found him will find him. And if you don't, we'll be sad, but like, we don't want to force it down your throat. And I feel like sometimes when we start talking about that, that's where people go like, oh, they're trying to shove this at me. And so Pastor Aaron Burke talked about sharing your testimony. And when you're telling people about Jesus, he said, how did he say it? I might get this wrong, but I'll post the link to that message under here so you can go back and watch it. But So it was something along the lines of this. Like, people can argue with the Bible, but they can't argue with your testimony, right? So I can come on here and say, well, the Bible says this, and Psalms, whatever, says this, right? And essentially it's a book. So you could argue with that, right? But if I tell you my testimony, if I tell you how I came to find Jesus and how he's made such an impact on my life, you can't argue with that. That's my story. That's what happened to me. You can't have opinions about that because it's mine, and it's mine to keep, and it's special to me. So I just found that like super, super powerful. And so, this is so far off from RV life, but I've just really been feeling like called to share my story. And honestly, I'm kind of nervous because I don't even know if my husband knows this. I don't know if my mom knows this. I don't know if anybody knows it, honestly, because I've never really talked about it. It's just been like mine to know. But I've seen so many people. I follow a lot of Christians. I listen to podcasts. If you know Maddie Pruitt she was on The Bachelor, awesome Christian. She just got a new podcast, and it's been so great. And she kind of shares her testimony. And I've seen so many people sharing their testimony, and a lot of what I'm working on is like, why can't I share mine? It may not be like extravagant or this crazy story or anything super special. To me, it's special. But everyone's testimony is different, and it's just for people to listen or not. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna be all over the place. Okay, I'm gonna be nervous. I'm gonna try not to cry. We're gonna do it. Okay, so for those of you that don't follow the Bible or are not practicing Christians, I'm just sharing my testimony. And when I say that, it's kind of my walk with Christ and what has happened in my life and how I have come to follow him and when I was saved. And it's not always linear. Life's not linear. It has been up and down and all over the place. And that's just what I'm going to share with you guys. And I think a lot of why I haven't talked about it is kind of, I didn't know. I had to talk it over in my head and be like, is this what happened? Like, when was I saved? Everybody has these, like, my husband always asks me, we've always had this conversation, when were you saved? And I kind of beat around the bush because I don't think I ever sat back and was like, this is my story. This is what happened. And so after I lost my uncle, I flew up to Maine for the service. And on the plane, I like close my eyes and pray every time we take off because, as you get older, flying is just not so fun. So close my eyes, pray for a safe flight. And I just kind of went over and over and over my testimony in my head, and it just made sense. And I don't think I ever talked it out loud. And I don't know if I didn't ever think it was good enough. Did I want to share it? Was I actually saved? Is this what happened? And so, like I said, my husband always asked me, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, I think this was it. Wasn't very confident in saying it. But when I closed my eyes on that airplane and I said it in my head, I was like, that's it. No questions about it. Like, this is my story. This is my testimony. And that's what I'm going to tell. Okay. So I don't want to make this super long. It might end up being super long. I don't want to like speed through it, but I also don't want y'all watching like an hour-long video. Okay, so kind of a background. Grew up going to church when my parents were together. They were very involved. My mom worked in the kitchen. My dad worked, I think, in like the financial part of it. We went to church on Sundays. We went to church on holidays. We went to Vacation Bible School. I did Wednesday nights at church. We did weekends away at the camp. I know my dad played volleyball. We would go to volleyball games. So very involved. We moved a few times in our life. And then at one point we were literally like, it was a 2-minute walk to church. So we could walk to church every Sunday. And so, okay, a little preface. This is really, I think as you get older and you look back on situations that happened, I think as I got older in my 20s, I was like, oh, okay, this situation happened to me. I wasn't that bad. Like, I'm okay. I'm here. I'm in one piece. Was it really that bad? And then you get older and you have kids and you're in your 30s. And I've looked back on this situation and I've been like, wow, because I'm imagining my daughter go through it. And I'm like, wow, that was a pretty traumatic experience that I went through. And in the moment, I don't think anybody knew how to handle it. I didn't know how to handle it. I don't think my mom knew how to handle it. A lot of people that didn't know how to handle it. And it was kind of like a little bit of a secret. Only me and a few friends kind of know little bits and pieces about the situation. Everybody's going to know now. So I don't think, I was kind of scared to speak up because I don't think, I didn't want to step on toes, and I don't think other people really knew. So anyways, here we go. Okay. So I don't even know the year, so I'm not even going to try and do that. It was probably, actually I could probably look it up on my phone because I have. Let me look real quick. All right, y'all, so crazy. I still have the little note on my phone, so I do have the date. Okay. January 2006. How old am I? Hold on. Math is hard. 91. 2001. 1. January 2006. So I'm 14, almost 15. It's New Year's Eve. Me and my friends went to a New Year's Eve party. Met these guys that I went to high school with. They were a few years older. Started talking to this one guy, nothing serious. I'm 14, really nice guy. I'm 14, I'm excited. Something new. He's a few years older. Anyways, met him at New Year's Eve, super nice. We start talking on the computer. Like, this is like MySpace, I think, like MySpace AIM times. Wow. So we start talking. Nothing, just like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? We should go out sometime. We should go see a movie, all this stuff. I remember the one time I was at my house, my girlfriends were over. We were talking on AIM. One of his friends called me and was like, hey, he wants to go to the movies with you. Anyways, it was just this, like, I don't know. It was fun. Super sweet kid. So then that went on for like a month. And then it's February, and I go to my friend's house for the night. We were talking to the guys for a little bit. She was talking to one of the other kids that was in our grade. They were all hanging out for the night, and then we just decided to stay in. And I don't remember when we found out. It was either, I think it was that morning. Come to find out, there was a car accident, and one of the kids passed away, and the other two were in the hospital. I don't know if I'm getting all the details right, so bear with me. I was 14, and it's just all still kind of a blur. And the kid I was talking to was in the car accident. Was in the hospital. I don't remember who called me, but I remember getting the call. I remember I was at like TJ Maxx or Marshall's, or I was somewhere with my parents. And I remember getting the call that he had passed away. And I lost it. I fell apart. And I think it was over the weekend. And then we were supposed to have school. I think they had counselors and stuff set up. I don't even know, because I didn't even know how to process all that at that age. And looking back on it now, I think I just kind of shoved it all down so far deep and was just didn't treat it as traumatic as it was, because I didn't know what to do or what to handle it. But looking back now, like, I wish there were so many things I would have done differently, like talk to someone and talk to a counselor. But I just kind of retreated into myself. I didn't go to school for a little bit. Finally went to school, was still hard. I remember a situation that happened. I was in class, and the other kid that had passed away had been in my class and obviously wasn't there, so that was hard. And then a friend was on the computer looking at pictures. I remember looking over, seeing the pictures from the car accident because I hadn't looked at anything, and just lost it again. So trying to process all that. Nobody really knows, besides a few of my close friends, that me and this kid were even talking. So I hadn't really told anybody how much I was struggling with it. Granted, we weren't dating, it wasn't anything serious. We were honestly just talking as friends. But it was hard. It was really, really hard. So we have a service for school. I remember walking across the street, doing a little service at the church across the street. And then we actually had their services, their funerals, at this big church. I remember going to the church, super rough. Just still really struggling. And I just remember being so mad. Like, why would God let this happen? I was so mad, like so mad. And then I remember the first time I went to church, again with my parents on a Sunday, to our normal church. And I remember walking in, sitting at church, sitting in the service, and I just remember feeling like nauseous and just crying and being like, I can't be here, because all I could think about was the service that I had to go to because this kid passed away. And I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm so mad. I'm so sad. I'm so angry. I don't know how to feel. I'm nauseous. I can't be here. I cannot be in a church because this is not a good feeling. And so that's pretty much when I kind of lost my way, I guess you could say. I stopped going. We would just go on like holidays. And I could be wrong. We may have gone, and I just completely shut it out. It was a pretty traumatic experience at 14. And I never really saw it for what it was until a few years later. So that was in 2006. So a long time. Met my husband, well, now husband, but I met him in 2011. He had gone to a Baptist school, like really strong in his faith. I remember going to church with him and his mom, to his church. And when I went, I just kind of felt this sense of peace. Their pastor was great, really could like relate to the message. And I just started like slowly finding my way back. And a lot of it had to do with my husband and his mom, because they were just very like, this is what the Bible says. And I was very like, but like, why would God do bad things? I was very in that mindset. And it was not a good place now that I look back on it. But I'm so grateful for him and his family, to just kind of give me that little nudge, to just kind of be like, why are you fighting this? Like, God didn't do this to you. Why are you mad at him? And I really had to kind of take a step back and figure all that out. And so, gosh, I don't remember the actual date. I met my husband in 2011. When I graduated college in 2013. So it was somewhere in between there, maybe like 2012. So I just remember, so I would always have talks in my head to this boy that passed away. I miss you. I would just think about it all the time. And then I remember at one point, I don't know what happened, but I just remember being really, really sad. And I had actually reached out to his sister and was like, hey, is there like because I was headed home for like Christmas or Thanksgiving or something. I was like, is there a grave site or like something that I can go visit? Like, I just need closure. I need to talk to him, to like, I need something. I need closure. And this is almost 10 years later. So I reached out to his sister. He was cremated. I think they still had the ashes. I don't think they ever did anything. So I was kind of like, oh, like, where do I go from here? So I'm in the car and I'm driving back to Pennsylvania from college. I went to JMU. I'm driving back to Pennsylvania. So I'm driving on 81. So if you know 81, it is just straight shot, but it is beautiful, like mountains, rolling hills. Like, if you're going to talk with God, that's the place to go. So I'm listening to a song, and song is really where I find my peace and where I feel close to God when I'm worshiping through song, especially at church. Like, there's some songs where I'm just like, I'm crying at least once a service, every service, and it's usually during the worship songs. So I'm listening to the song, and it's not even, I mean, I guess technically it is a worship song. It's Walking in Memphis. I had just talked to my friend's sister. There's no way to go to a gravesite. There's no way to find closure. And so I'm talking to him in my head, what do I do? And so I'm listening to my playlist in the car, and Walking in Memphis comes on, and it's the verse where it's like, Muriel plays the piano every Friday at the Hollywood. I don't even know if these are right words. Hold on. Muriel plays the piano Friday. Ask me if I can, and I told her that do a little. She said, honey, are you a Christian? I said, and I am tonight. Don't know if I'm going to put this in the video because your girl can't sing, but maybe I'll put the little snippet in. Anyways, I hear that verse, and where it says, are you a Christian? And I said, man, I am tonight. And in that moment, I said, I was talking to my friend, and I could hear him, and he said, you're gonna be okay. It's okay. Like, you have to just let go and move on. I'm okay. It's literally what I heard in my head. Heard that verse, and I said, this is it. Like, this is what I need. I'm a Christian. I'm gonna get through this. And that was pretty much when I got saved. So there you go, mom, husband, everybody, people that don't know. So yeah, obviously it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been like, oh, I got saved and I'm walking through Jesus and I'm a good Christian. And, we are human. We are all sinners. I have lost my way. I have found my way. Um, but that was really a turning point in my life where I finally dealt with a traumatic experience. I felt at peace. I had come to terms with what happened, and I stopped making it so negative and was just like, I'm a Christian and this is what I'm going to do. And also for like my husband too, because it was super important to him, and I knew I was going to spend my life with him, and it was just important to both of us. So there you have it all. There is my testimony. I know maybe this will make sense to like some of my friends. It's so hard. You like see this image of what you are, and then it's like sometimes so different from how other people see you. Like I'm always like, do my friends see me as a Christian? And then I just like go back in my mind and think of all these like instances where I'm like telling my friends like, oh, I need my Bible right now. And I'm like, maybe I've always been like this. I didn't know, or I wasn't confident, or honestly just wasn't paying attention. I was like, this is me. And there you have it. And don't think twice. Well, that's kind of long story short, or long story long. That's my testimony. It's important to me. It's important to my family. It's important that I'm instilling a love for Jesus into my kids. So when they go through hard times, hopefully, obviously, you pray your kids never have to go through anything, but that's not life. So I just pray that if they go through something difficult, that they have a firm foundation to not run away or get mad. They can ask the questions, they can get mad, but don't run away from it. Talk to someone, talk to Jesus, pray about it, and just find peace in that moment and not wait 10 years like I did. All right, y'all. So that's it. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for waiting 3 weeks. I know this may not be what some of y'all want to hear. A lot of me was like, well, I'm maybe trying to do this as like a career. Am I going to lose subscribers? Are people going to unfollow me? But I was kind of like, well, the right people will follow me who want to hear this and who are curious. And this is my life, and I'm going to do me, right? So once again, thank you for waiting 3 weeks. I pray if you're going through a hard time, if you're struggling with something, I just pray so hard that you find peace. I pray that you find peace in Jesus. If you haven't found him, I pray that you do, or I pray that someone is put into your life that will help you to find him, because it's really made a difference in my life. And that's what I'm here for, is to just give you my testimony and tell you how it's helped me. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you want to see. Follow us on Instagram to keep more up to date. And I will see y'all next week. Safe travels, and God bless y'all. I'm working. I don't know where to look. I don't want to look at myself. I want to look at you guys. This is so awkward. Okay. Text from RV friends, but and the AC just turned on. There's life, RV life. Aha. Okay.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe.